There are many cultures with different beliefs about the afterlife than most of us have. But there is one place in the world where a local custom makes many people's hair stand on end. An ancient practice where the deceased remain at home with their families long after their passing. A country as extraordinary as the custom of temporary marriage of the Minangkabau. A period of time in which the women of this community are free to establish relationships with several men. In this new video of Uncensored World, we will know in more detail Indonesia, one of the most wild and extraordinary countries, but at the same time, more beautiful and fascinating on the planet. Indonesia, the world's largest archipelago of more than 17,000 islands, a region located in the wildest and most active volcanoes on the planet, with villages and people living constantly under some of the most dangerous volcanoes on Earth. A land of fascinating cultures and unique traditions such as that of the Toraja community, who dig up their dead, dress them in new clothes, and take them back home to live with them for weeks or months, with the intention of honoring their transition to the afterlife and keeping the family connection alive. A country with unique curiosities such as the existence of an island full of dragons, being the country with the most Muslims on Earth, producing the most expensive coffee in the world, obtained from the excrement of a small mammal, hiding secrets and legends under the most enormous plants on the planet. A nature so wild and mysterious that, in addition to its thousands of islands, paradisiacal beaches and volcanoes, is home to one of the densest jungles on the planet. A space so vast and enigmatic that until recently a tribe was feared for being known as Headhunters. A space in which many believe that still hides the one known as Ebu Gogo, an ancient creature that, according to local legends, would be a monster remnant of a human species discovered a few years ago by the scientific community. Pay attention and don't miss this video because we assure you that everything in it will surprise you. Let's start. Indonesia is a fascinating and incredibly beautiful archipelago, stretching across Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean, consisting of more than 17,000 islands. With a population of over 260 million inhabitants, it is the fourth most populous country in the world. This large number of people, distributed over a vast territory, results in a population density that varies considerably among the islands, with Java, the most populous, being a true center of cultural and economic activity, and the most densely populated place in the world. One of the most curious aspects of Indonesia is that it is home to the largest Muslim population in the world, with over 200 million Muslim believers. However, this religious identity coexists with a rich cultural diversity. For interestingly, Indonesia is also home to the world's largest Buddhist monument, the Borobudur Temple, located on the island of Java. This striking duality reflects the country's complex history and openness to diverse religious traditions, which can also be seen in places like Bali, where Hindu practices are deeply rooted. Indonesia's history is equally rich and varied, with influences coming from multiple cultures and civilizations. From its earliest inhabitants, believed to have arrived thousands of years ago, to the establishment of powerful maritime kingdoms such as the Srivijaya and Majapahit, the country has been a crossroads for traders and explorers. The name Indonesia comes from the Greek Indos, India, and Nasos, island, reflecting the geographical and cultural connection with the region of the Indian subcontinent. This name was adopted in the 19th century to refer to the group of islands found in this archipelago. Over the centuries, Indonesia has been shaped by colonization, trade, and interaction between different ethnic groups. The arrival of Europeans in the 16th century marked the beginning of a new era, culminating in more than 300 years of colonial rule, first by the Portuguese and then by the Dutch. The struggle for independence led to the establishment of a diverse and dynamic republic, with more than 300 ethnic groups, speaking more than 700 languages and dialects. The official language is Bahasa Indonesia, and it has a very curious reality since it was created a few years ago, in the 20th century, as a unifying language that allows communication between the various communities. The climate in Indonesia varies according to the region, with wet and dry seasons that make each island unique. The coastal areas enjoy a warm tropical climate, ideal for enjoying its white sandy beaches and crystal clear waters, while the mountainous areas offer a cooler and more refreshing environment. In addition to its natural and cultural landscapes, Indonesia is famous for its ancestral traditions, some of which create a lot of controversy, especially in foreign eyes, such as the temporary marriage of the Minangkabau community, which gives women the freedom to establish relationships with several men and prioritize emotional connections. But before we go into detail of some of the most surprising and controversial traditions in the world, let's start by getting to know one of its darkest mysteries. For in the heart of Indonesia, there are communities with enigmatic histories, such as the Batak tribe on the island of Samosir, better known as the Headhunting tribe. On this island, located in Lake Toba, until a few years ago, there were headhunters belonging to this ancestral tribe. Although this practice is no longer carried out, the Batak are known today for their hospitality and are eager to share their rich history with visitors. This headhunting was a macabre and terrifying practice that involved ending a person's life and keeping their head as a trophy. This grisly practice was intended to display these heads as a trophy to scare off other hostile tribes and prevent wars and problems among the community. In this way, Batak warriors were feared and respected for their ferocity, and some descendants of headhunters still keep such trophies from their ancestors today, adding an air of mystery and curiosity to their traditions. Although headhunting has existed for centuries, its practice intensified in the 19th and early 20th centuries. With the arrival of European colonization and the influence of missionaries and colonial administrations, the practice declined. As societies modernized and new laws and regulations were established, headhunting was no longer accepted and was largely eradicated. Nowadays, it is believed that this horrible practice is completely extinct, although surely no one would like to get lost in the thick jungle of this enigmatic Indonesian island. Later, we will learn about the reality of the Ebu Gogo, a kind of hobbit that many consider a real monster that lives hidden in these islands. But before that, we will discover some of the wonders and natural realities that make this corner of the planet unique. Indonesia is a true sanctuary of biodiversity, ranking among the countries with the greatest variety of species on the planet, only behind Brazil. This archipelago is home to a rich natural heritage that includes rare and emblematic species, such as the Sumatran tiger, the orangutan, and the Javan rhinoceros. These animals are not only valuable for their unique features and beauty, but are also a reminder of the urgent need to protect their habitat, which is threatened by deforestation and agricultural expansion. The island of Sumatra is especially known for being one of the few places in the world where wild orangutans can be observed, a name that comes from this country, because in Indonesian, orang means person, and utan means forest, resulting in orangutan literally translating as forest person. One of the most fascinating curiosities of this country is that it is the only place in the world where you can observe real dragons, known as Komodo dragons. This impressive lizard is the largest in the world and is endemic to the island of Komodo, one of the more than 1,700 islands of Indonesia, where they can be seen in their natural habitat. These scaly and ferocious creatures can measure up to 3 meters long and are feared for their toxic bite and carnivorous diet. They hunt and can devour prey much larger than themselves, including humans. However, they are protected and can be sighted in several national parks on the islands of Komodo, Rinca, Flores, Padar, and Gili Motang, where visitors can be amazed by their presence. The Komodo dragon is often compared to mythological dragons for its imposing size and formidable appearance, as despite not having wings or the ability to spit fire, it shares certain qualities that evoke the image of these legendary creatures. Its great length, scaly skin, and carnivorous nature make it one of the most fascinating reptiles in the world. If there were a real animal that resembles a dragon, it would definitely be the Komodo dragon. In addition to this dragon, Indonesia is also home to the Draco volans, known as the flying dragon, a small lizard that can glide through the trees thanks to skin membranes that extend along its body. Although it is much smaller and lacks the ferocity of the Komodo dragon, its ability to fly and its distinctive appearance make it a fascinating example of the region's unique biodiversity. But if there is a mythological and obscure species in this wonderful corner of the planet, it would be the one known as Ebu Gogo. This legendary figure, which many locals and mystery lovers claim to have seen, is considered by some to be a hominid, often described as a monster due to its peculiar appearance and the tragic stories surrounding it. The Ebu Gogo was said to be responsible for the disappearance of domestic animals and even attacks on people, which contributed to its terrifying reputation and monstrous character in the popular imagination. Accounts of its alleged aggressions have fueled fear and fascination with this creature, which has become part of the region's folklore. Those who claim to have sighted the Ebu Gogo describe a figure that resembles a hobbit, a small and robust being, about a meter tall, with features that might remind one of a primitive human. Its skin, covered with dark hair, and its face with prominent features and large eyes, contribute to its unsettling and enigmatic appearance. These descriptions fuel the idea that the Ebu Gogo could be a remnant of a lost hominid species that has managed to survive in the remotest corners of the island of Flores. The name Flores reflects the natural beauty and lush vegetation that characterizes the island, replete with breathtaking landscapes, green hills, and wildflowers that adorn its grounds. Flores is known for its biodiversity, which includes not only a wide range of plant species, but also unique animals and a vibrant marine environment. Its dramatic landscapes, which include mountains, volcanic lakes, and white sand beaches, make the island of Flores a captivating destination for nature lovers and adventurers. Among the island's native community, the legend of the Ebu Gogo is reinforced by the existence of myths that have been passed down from generation to generation, in which supernatural powers and amazing abilities are attributed to it. Although there are no concrete scientific proofs of the existence of the Ebu Gogo, the history of the Homo floresiensis helps to better understand this possible mystery. In 233, the remains of this small hominid were discovered on the island of Flores and have been considered evidence that a primitive human species coexisted with modern humans. With a stature similar to that described in the Ebu Gogo stories, the Homo floresiensis could have been the last vestige of a human lineage that once inhabited the island. This discovery not only reconfigured our understanding of human evolution, but also suggests that the Ebu Gogo legend might not be so far from reality. If Ebu Gogo was indeed a representation of these ancient Flores inhabitants, his story might have a basis in fact, even if the evidence is limited to fossil remains and legends. The possibility that an ancestral hominid may have once walked these lands, and that it may still be hidden there, makes us discover that our planet is a place full of mysteries yet to be unveiled. Fact or fiction, surely the thick and beautiful Indonesian jungle may have something to do with the fact that this or other species can be protected and hidden here, as in very few other places, since Indonesia has the largest flower in the world, the Rafflesia arnoldi, also known as corpse lily. This flower grows mainly in the rainforests of Indonesia, and after months of development, only blooms for a few days. The corpse lily has no visible stem or leaves, can reach more than 1 meter in diameter, and weighs up to 10 kilograms. Its foul odor when flowering has led it to be considered one of the stinkiest plants in the world, and this is probably where the plant gets its nickname of corpse lily. Rafflesia arnoldi is considered one of the most foul-smelling plants in the world due to its intense and unpleasant odor, which resembles that of decaying flesh, a smell that the plant itself uses as an attraction for pollinators. Besides this one, in the country there is another one whose fetid odor can be smelled from almost a kilometer away, and also serves to attract pollinating insects called Amorphophallus titanum, known as devil's tongue. The reality of these plants and the nickname of one of them have a lot to do with what is possibly one of the most disturbing and controversial curiosities of the country, as well as much of the world: the fascinating burial customs of a community that inhabits the Indonesian jungles, known as the Toraja. Located in the mountainous region of Sulawesi, the Toraja are known not only for their vibrant culture, but also for their impressive architecture and traditions. Their traditional houses, called tongkonan, are shaped like boats, a design that symbolizes the connection between the earth and the sky. These structures are not just dwellings, they are a reflection of the Toraja worldview and their deep reverence for nature. The boat shape represents the journey of the soul into the afterlife, revealing the importance of symbolism in their daily life and beliefs. This has to do with the Toraja burial culture, as you will see, unique and deeply meaningful. In this community, the deceased are not simply buried immediately after their passing, but remain at home for months or even years, retaining a continuous presence in family life. During daily coexistence, family members talk with the deceased, offer food and drink, and continue to include him or her in household activities. This closeness allows for a slow type of farewell, in which love and respect prevail over fear or discomfort, and the living find comfort and strength in their physical, albeit symbolic, presence. Although this practice may seem strange or disturbing in other cultures, for the Toraja, it is an essential part of their identity and worldview. They live with death in a deeply human and spiritual way, allowing the passage into the afterlife to be a shared, communal, and meaningful process that honors the memory of their loved ones. This period of waiting is due to the belief that funeral ceremonies should be elaborate and festive, a way of honoring the life of the deceased and ensuring their place in the afterlife. During this time, the family prepares for a monumental ceremony that may include dancing, music, and rituals celebrating the life of the deceased. One of the most notable Toraja rituals is the manene, known as the cleaning of the ancestors. This ritual is performed every few years and consists of digging up the deceased, dressing them in new clothes, and celebrating with them at a community event. This act not only symbolizes respect for the ancestors, but also keeps their memory alive in the collective memory of the community. Through these rituals, the Toraja demonstrate that, although the deceased are no longer physically present, their legacy and spirit continue to live on among the living. The tradition of keeping the deceased at home also reflects an intimate and continuing relationship with them. For the Toraja, the deceased are seen as an active part of the community and their daily lives. This not only provides comfort to the living, but also strengthens family and community ties, showing that death is only part of the cycle of life, and that the memory of those who have departed is never lost. In addition to their funeral practices, the Toraja community is characterized by its sense of identity and belonging. Ceremonies and rituals are community events involving not only the family of the deceased, but also friends and community members. This sense of unity and support is fundamental in Toraja culture and strengthens the response to death. Possibly, this unique way of facing the passage to the afterlife has to do with the fact that Indonesia is located in one of the wildest and most aggressive areas of the planet. The country is located at the hottest point of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region known for its high seismic and volcanic activity, where the collision of tectonic plates generates incessant geological activity. Indonesia has more than 130 active volcanoes, making it the country with the most active volcanoes in the world. This reality not only defines a unique landscape and unparalleled beauty, but also the daily life of its inhabitants, who live with the constant reminder of the force of nature. In Indonesia, earthquakes are a daily occurrence, with approximately 4 small tremors being recorded each day, a reminder that the earth beneath their feet is constantly moving. Villagers in regions near volcanoes such as Mount Merapi and the famous Krakatoa live with the possibility of eruptions. The latter, located between the islands of Java and Sumatra, has been the protagonist of one of the most destructive eruptions in the history of mankind. In 1883, Krakatoa exploded with such ferocity that it provoked two enormous tsunamis that devastated more than 165 coastal villages and caused the death of more than 36,000 people. The magnitude of the explosion was so great that the sound was heard thousands of miles away and caused unusual atmospheric phenomena as far away as New York. The impact of volcanic activity in Indonesia is so significant that it can be seen in the formation of impressive landscapes. One of them is Lake Toba, which is located in northern Sumatra. This lake is not only the largest lake in Indonesia, but it is also the largest crater lake in the world, with a considerable depth and an extent that could amaze anyone. Lake Toba is believed to be the result of a gigantic eruption some 70,000 years ago, which may have had a devastating impact on mankind, bringing it to the brink of extinction. This reality, that of the population's proximity to active volcanoes, and the acceptance of these risks in daily life, is a testimony to the resilience and adaptability of the Indonesian people, and to the extraordinary nature and wild beauty of this country. Despite the dangers they present, many communities find a strange beauty in this constant interaction with nature. Volcanoes are not only sources of destruction, but also an integral part of Indonesia's cultural and spiritual identity, reflecting a deep respect for the power of the earth. One of the places that best reflects the diversity and beauty of Indonesia is Bali. This island is an iconic tourist destination, known for its breathtaking scenery, including majestic volcanoes, terraced rice paddies, and rich cultural heritage. Bali is famous for its Hindu art, dance, and ceremonies, which distinguishes it from the rest of the country, which is mostly Muslim. This cultural uniqueness attracts millions of visitors every year, turning Bali into the most visited place by tourists in Indonesia. In spite of the fact that Indonesia is a country of Muslim majority, Bali has managed to maintain a more Western style of life, which is reflected in the comfort that its facilities offer. In Bali, the tourists can enjoy a relaxed and cozy atmosphere in their beaches, where it is common to see people bathing in bikini or swimsuit. It is always important to consider that some areas can have stricter cultural norms, reason why it is always advisable to observe the local customs. The coasts of Bali are a true paradise for the lovers of the surf, with iconic points like Kuta, Seminyak, and Uluwatu that offer ideal waves to practice this exciting sport. The beaches, surrounded by palm trees and with crystalline waters, have gained popularity among both backpackers and tourists looking for a perfect combination of adventure and relaxation. Here, the vibrant Balinese culture intertwines with natural beauty, creating a unique atmosphere that attracts visitors from all over the world. Whether enjoying an afternoon of surfing, relaxing in the sun, or exploring the charming coastal villages, Bali offers an unforgettable experience for all those seeking an escape in this tropical paradise. Bali's rice terraces are another spectacle not to be missed. These stunning formations have been sculpted by hand over generations, harnessing mountain water to create a landscape that is both functional and visually captivating. This agricultural work reflects not only the skill of Balinese farmers, but also their connection to the land and the importance of cultivation in their culture. Another interesting aspect for any tourist is that as much Bali as the rest of Indonesia is surely between the most economic countries of the world, as it happens in good part of the countries of the Asian Southeast. To make us an idea, it is possible to find lodges where to spend a night of hotel costs less than $30, to have dinner for less than $10, or to take a delicious coffee for around $1. Thinking of coffees, that would be the price of normal coffee. But don't even think of ordering kopi luwak coffee, since, although it is made from the excrement of a mammal, it is considered the most expensive coffee in the world. This exclusive coffee, also known as Civet coffee, is produced in Indonesia and has gained international fame not only for its peculiar production process, but also for its unique taste and price. Kopi luwak is made from coffee beans that are ingested and then digested by the civet, a small mammal that inhabits the jungles of Indonesia. The civet selects the best and ripest coffee cherries, which, according to experts, contributes to the exceptional quality of the final product. After digestion, the beans are excreted, harvested, cleaned, and finally roasted to prepare this beverage, one of the most exquisite and prized in the world. This process is not only laborious, but also explains the high price attributed to it. The price of kopi luwak can vary considerably, reaching astronomical figures in some cases. In some stores, a cup can be around $100, while a bag of beans can even exceed $1,000, depending on its quality and the reputation of the producer. At this point, we would like to ask you, would you like to try Civet coffee? Would you pay $100 for a cup, or wouldn't you do it at all? And what has surprised you the most about this incredible country? Pause the video and leave us your comment. You know that doing so is the best way you can support Uncensored World to keep us working every week to bring you interesting content like this. So, thank you. Unfortunately, the production of kopi luwak has caused a lot of controversy due to the conditions in which some civets are bred in captivity. In many cases, these animals are kept in unethical conditions, which has led to criticism about sustainability and animal welfare. For this reason, especially if you want to try this exquisite coffee, it is advisable to be well informed about its origin before deciding to consume it, since choosing an ethical product not only supports quality, but also responsible practices in production. Shortly, we are going to know another of the most controversial realities of Indonesia, the practice of temporary marriage. But before that, it is important to know in more detail the most outstanding and surprising traditions in Bali. Among them, one of the most outstanding is the Day of Silence, known as Nyepi. During this event, the whole island stops its activities. Even the airport closes and the residents stay at home reflecting in silence. This day of introspection is celebrated with great respect, and its profound meaning is a reminder of the value of quiet time and meditation amidst the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Another celebration that highlights the cultural wealth of Bali and fills it with life is the annual Kite Festival. During this event, enormous kites, many of them in the shape of dragons, are launched into the sky. This festival is not only an impressive visual spectacle, but also symbolizes fertility and prosperity for the crops, thus connecting the community with its agricultural roots. As you have been able to see, Bali is a microcosm of what Indonesia has to offer. For all this, it is one of the most advisable places to visit in any visit to Indonesia. A reality that reflects that in this island, the visitor not only finds beaches of dream and exciting activities, but also an immersive experience in a style of life that, although influenced by the modernity, maintains its essence and authenticity. Authenticity like that of the Minangkabau ethnic group, which is reflected in its most controversial practice, temporary marriage. This custom is very striking and surprising, even more so considering that it takes place in a predominantly Muslim and patriarchal country, with strict laws. In spite of this, and surely due to the ancestral reality of many of these ethnic groups and customs, the Minangkabau community has maintained a fascinating matriarchal structure. In this matrilineal culture, women are the primary inheritors of property, which gives them a crucial role in family and community decision-making. Temporary marriage is also an accepted practice today in some Minangkabau communities, where women are free to enter into relationships with several men for a set period of time. This type of union, known locally as nikah siri, does not involve permanent commitments and allows women to enjoy greater autonomy in their personal lives. This flexible approach to relationships stems in part from the importance placed on freedom and female empowerment within this culture. The reason behind this practice may not only be cultural, but also pragmatic. In an environment where women are in charge of family property, it is essential that they are able to choose their partners in a way that benefits both their status and well-being. This practice can offer a way to ensure that women maintain meaningful control over their lives, while allowing them to explore different relationships without the pressure of long-term commitment. But despite its matriarchal structure, the Minangkabau community is not exempt from outside influences. Temporary marriage is in a delicate balance between tradition and the expectations of the wider Muslim society. While some may view this practice as controversial and misguided, it is important to remember that it reflects the adaptability and resilience of Minangkabau culture in the face of changing social dynamics. What do you think about it? As you know, we'd love to read you in the comments, and it helps us a lot if you do, so thank you. The study of these practices has attracted the attention of anthropologists and researchers, as it is one of the few societies in this century that still maintains a matriarchal structure and reality, something that brings recognition to the richness of Minangkabau culture and its unique approach to marriage and relationships. We are coming to the end of this precious journey through one of the most wonderful and extraordinary countries on the planet. And with that in mind, we are going to try to summarize for you the best way to arrive, get to know and discover magical Indonesia. For those who plan to visit this archipelago, there are several international flight options, being Bali and Jakarta the main entry points. From Europe, Asia, and Oceania, you can find several airlines that offer direct flights or with stopovers. Depending on your country of origin, you could need a visa to enter, although many travelers of different nationalities can enjoy a visa to the arrival that allows them to be up to 30 days. It is advisable to check the current regulations before your trip, as they may change. One of the most attractive aspects of Indonesia is its low cost of living, making it one of the cheapest destinations in the world. From accommodation to food, you can find options to suit any budget. For example, dinner for two at a local restaurant can cost less than $10, and room rates in hostels or guest houses are very affordable. This allows travelers, backpackers, and tourists alike to enjoy a rich and varied experience without money being an obstacle. The best time to visit Indonesia is during the dry season, which runs from April to October. This period offers pleasant temperatures and less chance of rain, which is ideal for exploring the islands and enjoying the beaches. It is important to note that some areas, such as North Sumatra and the islands of Nusa Tenggara, may experience rain in December and January, so plan your visit according to the region you wish to explore. The climate in Indonesia is generally warm, with temperatures ranging between 25 and 35 degrees Celsius throughout the year. However, during the rainy season, which generally runs from November to March, temperatures may drop slightly and humidity tends to increase, which could impact your travel plans. Rainfall can be heavy in some regions, especially on the islands of Sumatra and Java, which could limit outdoor activities. Therefore, it is always advisable to check the weather forecast before departing, especially if you plan to enjoy hiking or outdoor activities. Getting around the islands is easy, thanks to the network of domestic flights and transport boats. The local airlines offer economic flights that connect the main islands, like Bali, Java, and Sumatra. You can also opt for ferries for shorter trips, which allow you to enjoy the beautiful view of the sea and tropical landscapes. With a little planning, traveling in Indonesia can be a comfortable and memorable experience. From Uncensored World, we hope that this tour of the wonders and curiosities of fascinating Indonesia has been as exciting for you as it has been for us. Thinking about it, and the effort it takes us to make these videos, we would love you to leave us a nice like, subscribe if you are not subscribed, and leave us a nice comment. It is the best way you have to help us to continue bringing you the best content every week. If you enjoyed this video and you are not subscribed yet, don't wait any longer and do it now by activating the little bell so you don't miss the fascinating videos that we make every week. Videos like this one that you can enjoy now to know one of the most enigmatic corners of the planet. Do not miss it and discover the wonders that this place has to offer.